In the basement of Ottawa's handsome new post office building, science is being pressed into service to help out human memory. This week, CBC Newsmagazine paid a visit to the post office to find out whose memory was failing and what was being done about it. Each working day of the year throughout Canada, the post office handles about 10 million pieces of mail. Of this total, Toronto handles 2 million and Montreal almost as much. The men who face the gigantic task of sorting this mass of mail must know the names of 13,000 cities, towns, and villages in Canada. In addition to this, they must know the quickest way of routing any piece of mail at any given time of day or night. Because a sorter cannot carry all this information in his head, he must specialize on a certain region. This man is a specialist on Quebec, but even he is stumped from time to time. Since September 1952, the post office has been engaged on a $1 million research project to meet the sorting problem arising from an annual 6% growth in the volume of mail. A trial system operating in the basement of the Ottawa post office depends on each letter being marked by a system of code dots. This is done by a girl as the letters pass before her eyes. Once the letters are marked by this code, they can be handled from there on by machines. Black square dots give the name of the addressee, his street name and number, his town, and his province. The letters are then fed into a franking machine which cancels the stamp, and from here on, electronics take over. Going along a conveyor, the letters pass an electric eye that scans the code as the envelope passes a small round hole. The eye takes note of each dot and signals what it has read by means of a pulse. This pulse is transmitted to a brain. It asks the brain which postal district the letter must go to. The brain then asks its memory, which is a revolving drum, something like the cylinder of a dictating machine. Every postal district is recorded on the memory drum, and the answer can be given to the brain in a tiny fraction of a second. Finally, the brain diverts the traveling envelopes into the proper slot or pigeonhole. Now let's look at the process again. First, franking and reading the code. Signaling the brain. Consulting the memory drum. Mechanical sorting. One machine doing the work of 500 human sorters, and it never forgets. Deputy Postmaster General W.J. Turnbull has a word to say about it all.
Now, you've seen some post office things, and you've also looked at the bits and pieces of our new electronic sorter. It might help to get an overall conception by looking now at an artist's idea of what the finished product may look like. We don't guarantee this will be the actual product, but here it is. Now, you will recall that one of the basic operations was to put code marks on the envelopes. Now, this is done in this area here. From those marks, the electronic brain then gives a signal to the switching devices so that the letters are individually diverted into the various pigeonholes. That has been explained to you, but this is the flow, in other words, through here, from the coders, consultation of the memory, flowing down on these tracks, then the diversion into pigeonholes, one pigeonhole for each destination, that is, a post office or a part of a post office, or in the city, a letter carrier walk. Now, from these pigeonholes, there's another manual operation. The employees who who don't have to know anything about sorting take the bundles and they put them in packages, which are then tied here, and then the packages are placed in bags to go to destination. That is, in essence, the operation, details of which you have already seen.